Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Andrew Kirchhoff, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking about the fantasy football Week 2 running back starter sits. I'm also going to be talking about my top 34 running back rankings for Week 2 of the regular season. So before we get into that, I'd like to thank you all for subscribing to my YouTube channel. For those of you who have commented, liked, and obviously subscribed, I appreciate you guys. For those of you who haven't already subscribed to the channel, we're trying to get to that big 1,000, if I'm not mistaken. I'm in the 920s as we speak, or as I speak, and I'd really like to get to that big 1,000. So if you like the content and it's helpful and it helps you win a fantasy week or helps you win a couple games out of the season, maybe a championship, we're a little early, but if it helps you win a championship, leave that subscription, and I'd be really greatly appreciative of that. So, hey everybody, how's it going? I'm talking about 4 running backs that you should start and 4 running backs you should definitely sit this week. On the screen, Dion Lewis, Adrian Peterson, 2 of my running backs that you should absolutely start going into Week 2. Okay, so Dion Lewis in Week 1, he set the tempo. Obviously, without a doubt, not obviously, I was a Derrick Henry truther. I honestly thought that he was going to be able to take care of this backfield. I thought, you know what, DeMarco Murray's gone. No worries. Derrick Henry's got it. He performed well in the playoffs. Well, and real quick, for those of you who have told me in the chat, in the comments, Andrew, you're wrong. It's going to be Dion Lewis. I apologize now, okay? I'm telling you, I'm sorry. I didn't see it coming. You guys got me on this. Dion Lewis ran the ball 16 times for 75 yards and 1 touchdown last week. He was also in the passing game. Where was his receiving stats? Where are we at here? 5 receptions for 35 yards. Derrick Henry's done. It's over. Like, what's the point, right? So, going into Week 2 against the Houston Texans, the Tennessee Titans, with or without Mariota, we'll have to see, right? But I think Dion Lewis getting, 21 touches last week versus the Dolphins, he's going to continue to be the workhorse back here, I guess, and going forward. So Dion Lewis is a must-start, in my opinion, going into Week 2. Okay, another must-start, Adrian Peterson. Something I thought I probably wasn't going to say this season. But Darius Geis just had to go and tear his ACL. Feels bad. Adrian Peterson, man, he showed up in Week 1, and he was dominating, right? He set the tempo, and, I don't know where he gets this energy from. He's so powerful, and he's so fast still despite his age. Adrian Peterson going against the Indianapolis Colts, who Joe Mixon had a field day tearing them apart, almost broke 100 yards at a rushing touchdown. I think Adrian Peterson is going to have a great week. Same thing with Chris Thompson. I think he'll be an extremely vital part of this offense and have good fantasy value this week, but I'll get to that more in my rankings later on at the end of this video. Okay. Another 2 running backs that I think you should 100% start this week, Matt Breida and Lamar Miller. Now, this Matt Breida on my left, right? The thing about Matt Breida is the 49ers play the Lions, okay? And I think the Lions defense, as they showed yesterday, is not great, okay? So the question is it going to be Matt Breida or is it going to be Alfred Morris? I think Alfred Morris had his shot. His 1.8 fantasy points from Sunday speak for themselves. He had 4 attempts on the 5-yard line to score a touchdown, got stuffed all 4, or 3 times, And I think Matt, Breida has kind of earned his opportunity now, hopefully, okay? I think this week, especially in this matchup, I like Matt Breida. Obviously, if news comes out that Alfred Morris is going to be a starter, I'll change to Alfred Morris, okay? So it's either one of these 2 running backs. If they decide to be a running back by committee, well, then I'm screwed, and don't touch these guys. But all things considered, I like Matt Breida, especially against this terrible Lions defense that showed up on Monday. Hopefully, they won't be that bad, but if they are, Matt Breida's going to have a field day. Okay, my other guy, Lamar Miller, right? Against the Patriots on Sunday, had about, 98 rushing yards. He didn't have that rushing touchdown that we thought he would because Alfred Blue came out of the blue and stole it, which is unfortunate, but Lamar Miller versus the Tennessee Titans. I think it'll be a good game for him. Frank Gore was able to gash the defense. Kenyon Drake was able to do some work. So I think Lamar Miller is a must-start this week. There are a bunch of other must-starts, right? But I'm talking about guys that aren't in the top 10, right? These are guys that are outside of the top 12, if anything, right, that you should probably look into starting. That's why I mentioned these guys. So the guys you should never touch, okay, and I'm done with these two. It's unbelievable how bad they are. Derrick Henry and LaShawn McCoy. I mean, let's put it this way, okay? Technically, it's not LaShawn McCoy's fault, right? He's on a really bad team, and if no one's going to block and no one's going to be able to protect him, then what's the point, right? Just retire the season and we'll see you next year, right, LaShawn? Like, just take the season off. Like, I don't understand. I would never play LaShawn McCoy ever again this season unless the Bills go and figure out how to bring in an actual good quarterback. Because what they have right now with Josh Allen and Nathan Peterman, it's horrendous. It's terrible. So, nope. No. LaShawn McCoy's for me, okay? Derrick Henry. I said it on yesterday's video. I'm done with him. Dion Lewis is the guy now. I don't want to talk about him anymore. It just pisses me off. Okay, another two guys, all right? Peyton Barber. Should not start him this week. I'll tell you why. They play the Eagles. The Eagles have a nasty defense. They'll get after it. And I wouldn't even attempt to bring him out there against the Eagles front. Yeah, no, I wouldn't even dare. Duke Johnson, okay? One of the guys that last season in a PPR format was great, right? The thing was, in week 1, he didn't play well. Carlos Hyde was getting a lot of snaps. And to be honest, Duke Johnson just wasn't there. Even in a game where they played an entire overtime, Duke Johnson was only capable of scoring 3 fantasy points as a PPR receiving back. That scares me a little bit. I mean, listen, I understand that they play the Saints this week. The Saints have got a terrible defense. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick will lit them up. But doesn't mean that Duke Johnson's going to be able to do anything, okay? I don't like Duke Johnson this week. I think I'm going to go ahead and sit him. So, now that we've gotten through 4 starts and 4 sits that I would 100% suggest, right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through my running back rankings. 34 of these guys, right? And why 34? Because I can only fit 17 down. So, you're welcome, okay? How about that? All right, week 2 running back rankings, right? Todd Gurley, number 1. Are we surprised? No. He took care of that Raiders defense, and then he's going to have to play the Cardinals this week, who allowed 42 fantasy points to the running back position. They gave both in half-point PPR. They gave both Adrian Peterson and Chris Thompson 21 points apiece. Todd Gurley's going to have a field day. I mean, this offensive line performed last night. I mean, just insane. Melvin Gordon's my number 2 running back. Why? They play the Buffalo Bills. Why is Phillip Rivers my number 1 quarterback? It's because they play the Buffalo Bills. And the Buffalo Bills are going to get annihilated, okay? Number 3, Alvin Kamara. Goes up against the Cleveland Browns, who James Conner on 30 touches torched, right? He had that one fumble, but no big deal. James Conner performed. Alvin Kamara is going to be able to do the same, if not better, because he's that much better in the passing game. Alvin Kamara is my number 3. Honestly, these top 3 can be interchanged here and there. I doubt you have more than, unless you play in a 4-man league, there's no way you have 2 of these guys. Let's just put it that way, okay? Number 4, David Johnson. David Johnson had about 15 points in half-point PPR, about 60, almost 70 total yards and a touchdown. Looked decent, but the problem is Sam Bradford's not doing any favors for him. And that Alex Smith offense just killed the clock with Adrian Peterson and Chris Thompson just being able to convert so often. David Johnson this week against the Rams defense, who didn't look good. Okay, now I understand that the Rams won and they were lighting them up in the second half, but in the first half, that Rams defense looked very vulnerable. Okay, they went in at halftime, they made their halftime adjustments, and they were able to come back out and not allow any points, right? Which is that's what a better coach does, right? A better coach in the National Football League of all places, right, is going to go in at halftime, he's going to adjust, and he's going to come out and he's going to, crack some skulls, right? That's what they did. They put, they actually put somebody on Jared Cook in the second half. Bless their souls. David Johnson, I think there is a chance that he's David Johnson, right? He's going to have a good opportunity, especially in the receiving game, because Jalen Richard last night, he was doing great. Anyway, so let's move on. Number 5, I have James Conner. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going against the Kansas City Chiefs, and I mean, Kansas City Chiefs are another team that gave up 40 points to the running back position. Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon tore them apart last week. James Conner and this really good Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line, they're going to be able to take care of him. He's my number 5. Ezekiel Elliott is my number 6 this week. I think the game last week between the Giants and the Jaguars would have been way more controlled if Leonard Fournette didn't go out with an injury. I think Ezekiel Elliott, here's the thing about the Cowboys, right? They're not going to be able to really move the ball passing. So Ezekiel Elliott's their only option. And, they're going to have to run the ball, pass him the ball, and make sure that he gets popping off. Otherwise, they're going to have trouble. So Ezekiel Elliott's my number 6. Number 7, I got Dalvin Cook. Now, Dalvin Cook's going ahead and playing the Packers this week. So the Packers kind of I wouldn't say they got torched by Jordan Howard, but Jordan Howard had a pretty good night, right? He had 90-something rushing. Yeah, 90-something? Let's figure this out. Where is Jordan Howard's stats? Yeah, Jordan Howard, 82. And then he had 82 rushing yards. Did he have a single catch? 5 catches for 25 yards. He had a good week, right? And honestly, if the Bears were any better, they would have easily won that game. I think Dalvin Cook's going to have a pretty good week. I have him at number 7. I just think that this Green Bay defense isn't great. So I'm going to go ahead and favor with Dalvin Cook. My number 8, Saquon Barkley. Showed that he can run the ball like, the number 2 overall pick in the draft, right? Looked like a guy that's going to be the rookie of the year. Was able to run the ball on the Jaguars defense. And this week he's got Dallas, right? Dallas defense looked decent against the Carolina Panthers, but it doesn't matter. I think Saquon's going to be able to perform. He's my number 8. My number 9, speaking of the Carolina Panthers, we have Christian McCaffrey going against the Atlanta Falcons. The thing about the Atlanta Falcons, they weren't able to cover. They got pretty badly destroyed by the running back position, right? J.J. here and there was able to just break free 2 touchdowns, right? Darren Sproles in the passing game was playing around with those linebackers and corners trying to make tackles on him, right? Darren Sproles was working, and I think Christian McCaffrey is the younger version, the more youthful version of Darren Sproles. So he has the embodiment, right? The size, the speed, the ability to catch the ball. Christian McCaffrey is going to be able to take care of that Atlanta defense. The Atlanta defense and have a good week. He's my number 9. My number 10, Kareem Hunt, didn't play well week 1, right? Mainly because they scored so many points so quickly, and they never really had to opt to the run because the pass was always available. So Kareem Hunt, I think this coming week against the Steelers defense, going to have a good opportunity to run the ball. And I think he'll be able to, bounce back from last week. The only issue is I'm a little worried that Spencer Ware might get more carries, okay? So just watch out for that, Kareem Hunt owners. Just be careful. I don't know how those snap counts are broken down in week 1, but just a little worried. No big deal, but just a little worried. My number 11, Jordan Howard, okay? Played well against the Packers this week. Has the Seattle Seahawks, who like to fill the box. Honestly, Jordan Howard played well. He looked pretty good. I think as this Matt Nagy offense starts to get the engine going, starts to get the train rails on the track, I don't know. Hopefully they'll be able to pick up and start scoring some points, right? Hopefully. Otherwise, we'll see. And that Mitch Trubisky touchdown run, that was stolen from Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard could have had a 20-point week. Just saying. Okay, so my number 12, Joe Mixon, plays against the Ravens this week. Tough matchup, but I'm going to trust in him because Giovanni Bernard is useless. So Joe Mixon is going to be able to pick up all those receiving down stats. So I don't know. I'm going to trust him this week to hopefully be a upper echelon running back, but we'll see. Okay, I got him on a short lease. We'll see what happens with him. In my number 13, one of my starts of the week, Adrian Peterson against the Indianapolis Colts. He is going to tear them apart. Okay, Joe Mixon, the guy ranked above him, tore down. I think, if I'm not mistaken, let's see it, shall we? We might as well look it up. Joe Mixon, 95 rushing yards, a 5.6 yard average per attempt, 1 rushing touchdown, 5 receptions for 54 yards, right? So if you kind of break up the receptions towards Chris Thompson, and then you give the rushes to Adrian Peterson, and the offensive line for the Redskins is already better than the Bengals. You add 2 plus 2, and you get Adrian Peterson at 13. Okay, that's quick math right there. Okay, Adrian Peterson, my number 13. My number 14, my other start of the week. We got Dion Lewis. Start him. Put him in your flex and start him. Let him go. Let him go. Honestly, he proved it. He proved me. He basically showed me all I needed to see to believe in him. That's it. Plain and simple. My number 15, another one of my starts of the week. I don't know why they keep getting after each other. Lamar Miller. Had a pretty decent week 1. Didn't have much opportunity on the goal line like we want him to. But I think against this Tennessee Titans defense, he's going to have a pretty good game because Deshaun Watson's going to turn it around. He's going to turn it around. It's going to improve Lamar Miller's stats. But Lamar Miller had a decent week, okay? Number 16, we have Jay Ajayi. Jay Ajayi versus this Tampa Bay defense. Here's the thing, though. The Saints didn't really run the ball. They had Gillislee run the ball, fumbled. They had Alvin Kamara run the ball 8 times for 29 yards. So the thing is, are the Eagles going to be able to run the ball? I think so. I think the Eagles with their best, with the best offensive line in the NFL, they're just going to be able to plow through it. And Jay Ajayi hopefully gets some more snaps after he proved himself last week, and he'll be a pretty good play this week. Okay, number 17. Before we go on to the next page of rankings, we have Tevin Coleman or Devontae Freeman, right? We got that big or in the middle. So here's my thought process here, right? Devontae Freeman is listed as questionable, but the issue at this time, right? I'm thinking if Tevin Coleman and Devontae Freeman are literally going to be trading off series by series, right? Because that's what they were doing, right? It was Devontae Freeman first series, then it was Tevin Coleman, then Devontae, until Devontae got hurt in the fourth quarter, and it was all Tevin Coleman, right? If that's going to be the deal, then honestly, you can probably start them both. But you would probably, you see where I have them at 17? This is where I like them to be. Okay, I like them to be lower, maybe like a low-end RB2, right? Because they have just as much of a chance as the other to score, right? So who's going to score that elusive touchdown, or who's going to have those yards? They play the Carolina Panthers, which one of the people in my comment section today, this is the shout-out to you, okay? I don't know if I have the name. I don't think I'll be able to find it either. But shout out to you. You know who you are. Said that the Carolina Panthers haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher in over 20 games or something like that. That's an incredible stat. If that's actual pure stat, that's legit, then I worry about these two. But I would take Tevin Coleman because he's the receiving back. I mean, Devontae Freeman receives the ball, but his receptions on a year-to-year basis have been going down. He's a little injured, bada boom. Tevin Coleman gets the start probably for me. Okay, so my number 18, as we continue with Week 2 running back rankings, we got Kenyon Drake. They're going to be going against the Jets. I think Drake, I think he was decent in Week 1, right? He definitely wasn't good. He was just decent. He was serviceable, right? He scored 8 points. Congratulations. Big deal. Okay. Coming into Week 2, he's got to turn it around. I think that the attempts are there. They've just got to be able to find him in the passing game, right? They're going to give him the ball to, he's going to rush the ball 15 times, right? But he's got to be able to catch the ball 6 times. He's got to be dynamic. He's got to come out of that backfield and make linebackers have to cover him. Okay, my number 19, we got Royce Freeman this week going against the Raiders defense. I mean, Gurley just tore them apart. Freeman's going to have a good day. My number 20, Chris Thompson. As I mentioned before, they're playing against the Indianapolis Colts. And Joe Mixon was able to do some work last week, so why not Chris Thompson, right? My number 21, Alex Collins. On Thursday Night Football, they will be playing the Cincinnati Bengals. I think Alex Collins, because of the fact that Buck Allen is there, I know Kenneth Dixon is injured, because of the fact that Buck Allen sits around and maybe leeches or vultures some goal line carries, that scares me a little bit. But I like Alex Collins, low-end RB2, as you see. My number 22, Austin Eckler. Now, he is going to be on the waivers, people. And why am I saying he's going to be a top 22 running back this coming week? Well, it's because that Bills defense is straight garbage, okay? They used Austin Eckler a lot last week versus the Chiefs, right? They used him in the passing game. They used him in the running game. Okay, Austin Eckler was... Let's go find these stats, shall we? Where are we at, Austin? All right, the Chargers, Austin Eckler had 5 rushes for 39 yards, a 7.8-yard average. Okay, great. Maybe it's just the Chiefs' defense that's bad, okay? And then on top of it, had 5 receptions for 87 yards and 1 receiving touchdown. Okay, so he was able to do that against the Chiefs' defense. Now, what is a... How many points did the Ravens score on the Bills? Where are we at here? The Ravens scored 47 points on the Bills. Okay? And to be honest, they scored 14 in the first, 12 in the second quarter, and 14 in the third quarter. And then they took the foot off the pedal and they put in Lamar Jackson. So, start Austin Eckler. That's all I got to say. Another guy. Okay, who's next? Matt Breida, right? One of my starts of the week. I think he'll be good. I think because of the matchup, hopefully he's won the job. Please, it's either Matt Breida or Alfred Morris. You can exchange. If Matt Breida's not there, I will let everybody know that Alfred Morris will start, and I'll go ahead and slot him into there. Okay, so if you have any questions in the comment section, just understand that that's the deal I'm going through here. Number 24, we got Carlos Hyde. I think versus the Saints this week, Carlos Hyde's going to be pretty decent, pretty efficient. He was good last week. Yes, that Steelers defense was, pretty stout at some times, but Carlos Hyde is the number 1 back. They're going to use him as the number 1 back, and he could also stay in for passing downs. That's what kind of hurt Duke Johnson. Number 25, Rex Burkhead. I think, yes, the Jaguars are a good defense, but stopping the run is one of their weaknesses. If any, that's probably their only weakness, and even then, it's not even really a weakness. It's just their corners don't like to come up and tackle for some reason. I wonder why. So, yeah, Rex Burkhead, 25. Isaiah Crowell had a monster game against the Lions. Has to go and play the Miami Dolphins. Has a potential. That's why I got him at 26. Maybe he was a week 1, show off, and in week 2, Bilal Powell starts to really start taking shit away from him. But otherwise, Isaiah Crowell, straight 26. Phillip Lindsay, okay, a guy that, again, is another waiver wire guy. I think because this Raiders defense ain't going to hold anyone, Phillip Lindsay is going to be productive. That's why I have Royce Freeman as high. I mean, Royce Freeman's low, I would suppose, right? 19's kind of, you want him to be in that 13, 14, 15 range. I think Lindsay is still going to be contributing to this backfield. Therefore, I have him at 27. Chris Carson's 28. Going against Chris Carson's okay. I don't know how much they're going to run the ball against the Bears, but we'll see. Jamal Williams didn't do well against the Bears. Chris Carson. James White, 29. Again, I don't know how good it's not. I don't know how good. It's James White is going to always be used, right? The Patriots love James White. They love him in the passing game. When they need to throw the ball on third down, James White goes in. He's at my 29 this week. My number 30 is Marshawn Lynch. If you watched the game last night, you would have noticed that Marshawn Lynch in the second half was basically not there. Why? Because the Raiders were down, and Marshawn Lynch is not a receiving back. Therefore, they put in Jalen Richard, and they continued without him. He sat on the sideline eating seeds. That's it, plain and simple. Duke Johnson, 31. Yes, I said not to start him, but of all the guys, I think he has a potential because this could be a shootout. Right? As in shootout, I mean the Saints put on 40 points and the Browns try to figure out how to score some points, right? So we'll see. But he's at 31. Honestly, at this back end, it's kind of exchangeable. You can switch him up as much as you like. Darren Sproles at 32. Why do I have Darren Sproles at 32? Well, going against his Tampa Bay defense, in which Alvin Kamara was able to catch 8 balls for 119 yards or something like that. Darren Sproles got to be able to do the same, right? I'm hoping. Number 33, Jamal Williams was a bum. When Aaron Rodgers and the Packers want to throw the ball, Jamal Williams will be in the game because he's a great pass blocker. But will he be able to get the attempts that he needs, the goal line attempts? I don't know. We'll see. He's 33. And my last guy, we have Jordan Wilkins, 34. If Marlon Mack is there, I would rank that position higher. But because Jordan Wilkins is the starting running back, until we get some more information on Marlon Mack, I'll have him at 34. Now, really quick, before we end this video, I have Fournette and Yeldon down here in the underneath me, right down there. Okay, if Fournette is healthy, right, he has a hamstring injury that he's dealing with. If he's healthy, I would put him in at my 13th spot. So that means Adrian Peterson would go down a notch, and then I'd slide in Leonard Fournette into that position. Okay, so that's if he's healthy. Now, same thing with TJ Yeldon, right? If Fournette is not healthy and Yeldon is the starter come Sunday, Yeldon would be my number 23 slot. We'd move Breida down a notch and just plug in Yeldon. Okay, so just so you were wondering, if you're curious, if you had any questions about that, that is the way I see it. But just keep updated on those injuries. Otherwise, that's basically it, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it with your friends. I know it's difficult to share fantasy content with your friends, right? I talked about this earlier, a couple of episodes back, where I understand it's difficult, especially early in the season. You don't want to give your friends the upper advantage of watching one of these videos, but they go and look for them. So maybe they found it already. If not, if you're not, trying to kill your your league mates, share my video. Anyway, thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully it's helped you out. If you have any comments in the comment section, please make sure to let me know what kind of league you're in. These rankings are basically for half-point PPR because I can't do rankings for standard and full PPR, so I just kind of broke them down in the middle. So if you have any questions, please tell me your league scoring format, half, standard, or full, and so that I can answer the questions as quickly as possible. Thank you everybody for watching, and until next time, I'll see you.